I've heard that portion of Malachi's reading performed in a song. It's a very challenging piece for a solo baritone. I'm a tenor, so no boat, so sorry. Just recently, our Holy Father gave a Christmas message to the Curia. And instead of it being just kind of a general message of that sort of thing, he took an opportunity to do kind of a year-end examination of the culture and how he saw the working of the Curia. And in it, after I read through the English translation of the text, and after I finished, I wanted to go to confession. It really read like a beautiful examination of conscience, and it could be fruitful for different areas of the church to take that on and ask the questions ourselves that he is asking. And one of the things that he pointed out was to remember that everything is rooted in ministry. I think one of the dangers that we have when we work in this kind of organizational structure is we get so wrapped up in the business of doing our work that we forget that this is a ministry. And yet that's what we're really asked to call what we do. This is our ministry. We have a certain way that we are asked to do it. And that changes our whole perspective on what we're doing. It changes our whole idea about how we are and how we treat each other. And in these readings that we hear today, we realize that God's purpose is to call us into service, not to call us for a job. He's here to call us to serve Him. And we have structured this in such a way to serve the great number of people for whom we must care in this Archdiocese. But we're still all called to service. That's the basis of it. And this wonderful excerpt there from Luke, where they name the baby John, we have to remember Zechariah hasn't been speaking for a little over 9 months now, after he had the vision in the temple that only he saw. So there may have been some people who questioned whether or not he had a vision, or he had maybe a health thing, and well, they just said it was a vision maybe. But here, as he begins speaking again, they're saying, wait a minute. Something really did happen. And in our baptism, God called us by name. He chose us to take part in this work, in this service, in what we are doing. And He calls us in all kinds of different ways, but God has named us. And by that naming has called us to be part of His own, and to join in His work of the sanctification of our brothers and sisters, and the reconciliation of the world to God. And that's why in our first reading, the lines that really kept my attention in my prayer were these: to turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers. To seek healing, unity, reconciliation. That is the wonderful work that God is doing in our midst. And He is calling each one of us to share in that. And how we do that, not just within our own areas and departments, but how we do that throughout all our lives, reflects our understanding that God has called us by name, chosen us to share in this ministry, and really calls us to open ourselves up to the grace, to help turn the hearts of people to each other and to God. And that's the best gift we could give anyone at any time of the year.